I want to talk about what a marketer goes through when they're trying to spend money for an event, holiday, sales, and stuff like that, right? So, what is the best possible way to get the most amount of money and collect the most amount of cash for specific events and holidays and sales? What I mean by events and holidays is like Black Friday sales, Cyber Mondays, Christmas sales, or just, a webinar you're running or events you're holding, a free training class, which I have, I'm going to reveal this and that, and how to maximize the outcome from your ads and get the most amount of people signed up to these type of things or purchase these type of things. What is the ad structure which goes to perfect this and make sure that we're not going through too much stress? We're not trying to figure out what much money you have to spend every day, every single week, or how much should I delegate for the whole month. You know exactly what numbers you're going to put in so that you can exactly give Facebook that same number and they can just spend it for you. So my best strategy, I'll show you live in my ad account, which I used it for one of the webinars I ran. And I showed this in my first video where you can go and see how much we spent, how much we made. We made well over 100K. We spent less than 10K on ads, right? And let me share my screen here so you can get a perspective. So basically, when you first go to run ads, you need to know exactly how much you want to spend, right? For me, my client said that he wanted to spend somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 to get the results. I set the budget to $7,700 for Facebook. And what type of budget was it? Was it daily budget? Was it weekly budget? What was it? It's not a campaign budget. It's a ad set budget campaign. For those who are trying to understand this, you probably should know this already, but it's a lifetime budget. It's lifetime budget. What it means is that throughout the lifetime of this particular ad, I know that I'm not going to spend more money than $400 per ad. I'd like to go with on an ad set basis of a lifetime budget, not a campaign budget optimization, because what it does is that it gives Facebook the control over selecting the audience which is going to perform best. And sometimes the audience which was supposed to be tested gets left behind and doesn't spend money on that, right? So I give every single ad set almost an equal chance on how much it has to spend. So if I give it $400 here, it is going to end up spending $400. If it's a shitty ad, I'm going to cut it off in between. I think I cut off one of them in between. Actually, I didn't. Yeah, but because since all of them performed really well here. And what is really important to see, usually when you go with a daily budget, you do a CBO campaign, let's say, and Facebook decides which ad set gets the most money or not, right? And once it starts putting most money in that particular campaign, then you don't really have control over, how do I delegate it to another campaign without fucking the campaign up. You have to turn off that ad set particularly to go and run that ad spend towards that ad set which was working. I hope this is not too complicated. For those who already run ads, will probably understand this perfectly, and this is who the video is for. For Facebook ad marketers trying to get the most amount of results out of the budget they currently have, and without disappointing themselves or their clients with spending more money than you predicted to spend. Because a lot of times what happens is that a marketer goes into spending money. They say that I'm going to spend 10K for this whole event, for this whole month, for this whole week, for this particular promotion I'm holding or event I'm holding, or generally for my marketing stuff, right? They go and try to test out some creatives. Doesn't work out well. They go to test out some landing pages. They want to spend more money now. They say like, I'm going to spend $300 per day. Next day, you said, let me just do $400 today. And tomorrow, then I'm going to do $200. See, that's where you're kind of fucking up the algorithm, because if you go up and down, it's really not going to help it out. That's what I've seen. If I decrease budgets, sometimes it works. A lot of times it just messes up the whole campaign and you have to restart. You end up spending, 10-20% extra than what you decided to spend just because there's too much changes in the ad account. Why not let that change be in control of Facebook? So Facebook, they already know their product, right? They know when to spend more money. They know when to spend least money, right? So I give Facebook the control, just like you do with the CBO campaign. You give the campaign the control over spending our ad set, and you do that once you have a proven concept of ads. And this is usually going to be for those who are already running, some type of offer which has already been selling. So if it's already been selling, using Facebook for this type of stuff, or you're first new to this, you can still do lifetime budgets because it keeps you in that same budget you're trying to spend. If you had 10K to spend, you're going to give Facebook, hey, there's 10K. spend it across these different ad sets. You're going to cut the ad sets as you go through on the ones which are performing really shit. And then you can delegate that money, transfer that budget. It gives you an option, transfer the budget to another ad set which has been performing really well. For example, if I have an ad set performing at $400 a day, right? And another ad set which is not performing, and I give it a $400 lifetime budget to each, right? One of them is performing, one of them is not performing. What will I do? I will cut off that original campaign. I'll see how much I spend. Let's say we spent $200 so far, and the other one also spent $200 so far. I'm going to transfer that 200 to that particular one, and I'm going to increase that lifetime budget from $400 to $600. And then Facebook has control over when to spend the most amount of money on which particular day. So tomorrow it can spend maybe $10 a day, but the other day when it thinks it's going to get more customers, and you are usually getting more customers on, let's say, Friday versus Monday, it's going to go end up spending $50, $60, a little bit more. So you do not have control. Facebook has control. And if anything is going to fuck up, it's not going to fuck up under Facebook. And usually I've seen lifetime budgets perform amazingly well. And this is just a game changer when it comes to ads. Let me show you, this example again in detail a little bit. So with this particular campaign, you can see we ran it in October and November, and we spent $7,699. We got conversions for average of like $4.47, and some of them are like $2 to $1.5, $2.25. I even mix the retargeting ads in these. I just do one campaign with everything. Some people might say it's not best practice, but it just keeps it simple for me because I'm running this webinar campaign. I don't want to have 10 different campaigns for a webinar. One is a retargeting, one is cold traffic, one is warm traffic. So I just put everything in one place, and it performs really well, actually. So you can see yourself, retargeting was this one, and this one was retargeting, this one was retargeting, and all three of them got the lowest cost out there. It got costs of $2, $2.5, $1.56. Conversion rates from people who were landing from the ad to the landing page is 62% here, 53%. Out of every 100 people, 50, 40, and 62 people are registering for this particular event. So that's pretty good considering the fact that it was in November, and in November, usually the costs are really high. It's Q4. It was just before the election, literally a week before the election. You can see like the cost per click was a little bit higher. I would expect to go lower as we go throughout the year if we do other events as well. This is why I like to go with lifetime budgets, because then I don't need to think about the budget anymore. I can just figure out, how to increase my conversion rate. And that's what I was figuring out, how to increase my conversion rate. What can I do to get more registrations? So I ran retargeting. Which ad set is performing the best? So for example, here, Nobu, it was performing really good for me amongst other ads. So I copied it and I launched it again just before the webinar and gave it the same budget almost. So it got me 160 extra registrations. Let's go into another example. So over here, as you can see, that this is another one I ran for a company I'm actively involved in. I own a part of this company as well. And yeah, if you search my name, you're going to find me affiliated to this. But we ran another webinar funnel for this as well. We wanted to spend just $2,000 for this, and we ended up getting 400 registrations, a little bit more, 500 almost, with the attributions being fixed. And the cost was $5. And this is a business without a face on the business. It's not famous businesses. No one really knows it with a face behind it. There's no influencers behind it, and still the cost is pretty low because of the structure of the ads and how we ran them. I didn't do particularly retargeting for this because we could only take 500 people to this. So we were filled by the time we wanted to run this. I didn't expect such a cheap cost across these things, and the CTR 3.69, it is a very niche type of product and still ended up performing really well. And you can see some of the ads even got us some calls and leads as well, which is for a separate campaign. But it performs really well because now we have 500 people who are really interested, and we can retarget them multiple times with the same ads, with the same webinars. We have them in our email list, so we can email them, and we probably made more sales alongside this. And this account spends like 5 to 10K per month in ad spend, and we actively make like 60K, 50 to 60K, and increasing by 10% every month. It's a software company. And these type of lifetime budgets really help us decide how much we have to spend on marketing. When investors come and look at your marketing and they see a system there and they see like this person is going into their marketing with a specific idea on how much I'm going to spend, I don't end up overspending unless the ads are performing really well. So you don't end up overperforming if the ads are performing shit, which is a very common case with a lot of marketers, especially in the dropshipping space. I've been in that space. I can tell definitely like people who are noobs in marketing, they go in and they overspend. They wanted to spend like $500 on testing a product, but they ended up spending $1,000, $2,000, and they're just draining money down the drain without knowing what to do next. So with this, you don't have to worry about budget. You just give Facebook a budget. Let's say you want to spend $500 to test some ads, some product, and you give Facebook $250, let's say that, and you see the performance there, right? Facebook is going to spend that money, let's say over the week. And after the week, you analyze if you got results. If that performs well, then you can go well for 1,000 next time, right? So you're more safe. If you were to spend just 500, so you can do 250. If it performs bad, you go back and you look at what you did wrong. Maybe you change the landing page a little bit. Maybe you change the ads creatives a little bit, and then you test again with the 250. So you're not overspending. You can do the same when it comes to daily budget, but it's just a little bit easier mentally for a marketer to decide the budget that way because you're giving more control to the ad platform. And some may say it's bad, but I find that really good. And I speak from experience. This ends up being in favor of us because the technology is really strong nowadays with the algorithm and AI and all of this stuff that Facebook uses. So I hope this was helpful. Lifetime budgets is something I really like and really love. And if you want me to show you how I would structure the same type of ad accounts for other types of funnels, like not webinars, not events, for like daily budget, how are the best practices for that, and how I managed to leave my ad accounts for months and I don't even look at them and they're still performing and getting us calls and leads and sales consistently. I will be probably doing that over the next few weeks. And I really want to talk about Google ads as well. I really love YouTube ads. They're so consistent. And yeah, hopefully everyone got some value. Lifetime budgets, go give it a try. Tell me what you think. Maybe put it in the comments if you already tried it and want to see how well it worked for other people as well.